Hey everyone, and welcome back to Fundamentals of Things with Cole. And this time we're going to get into Chapter 1, Lesson 2, Greetings, Cues, and Sudden Inclinations. I know it's been a while, and because of that, there's been one significant change to how we're going to do things here. Namely, I now have my partner with me. Say hi.
Hello, I am Sean. You may know me from my previous lectures on the happenings and events that can, could, or will ever happen. But I'm happy to be here talking about things with Cole.
Yes, so Sean and I will be giving you the rundown today on Lesson 3 here. So let's just jump right into it. What is a greeting? Greeting is typically an utterance out of the mouth, which transforms two still thinking men into an active and reactive battle of words. Right?
A greeting is usually made of words, facial contortions, and an eager physical sensation that is usually caused by someone's expectation of the other person's counter greeting.
Right, so that's typically an eager physical sensation would be most often a smile. Sometimes it's a smile, but not an explicit smile, where the lips just press together rather than raise up at the corners. But anyways, a greeting need not pose a threat to the man to which it is delivered, but should a counter greeting not be counter delivered in the proper acceptable manner, the greeter is granted additional aggressive actions upon his next encounter with the receiver.
And as you can see below, we just have a very simple diagram of very common greeting that you might see in the wild.
Yes, we're going to get a little deeper into the anatomy of a greeting right here with the anatomy of a standard greeting diagram. So, of course, from the top down, you will have widening of the eyes, a little bit of masked discomfort, which is not always perceivable, but usually you can sense some of it. You have the nose typically pointing directly to the recipient. This is for a standard acceptable greeting, of course. Foul breath is not uncommon. Auditory projection is very common. And mucus suspended in throat is also another detail that commonly gets mixed up with the rest of those details.
Great. So a quick aside on non-human greetings before we get into cues and inclinations, because they do, in fact, occur all the time. So when two non-human things collide or come in contact with one another, there's still a very rigid expectation from both parties as to the manner of acceptable and necessary greetings.
Right, like when two or more non-human animals, such as an antelope and echidna, as the example used here, when they sense one another, the consequent greetings are dictated by two big factors: appetite and size.
Yeah, and finally, the last example, when two atoms come in close proximity to one another, it's usually very customary, or it's within the customary bounds for one of the atoms to actually incinerate the other, which is a process called atomic incineration. But this never occurred before, at least to our knowledge, because atoms are incredibly polite. And so this is where the law of conservation actually comes from.
Right. Here are some examples of, just to get you familiar with, greetings in the real world. We're going to go through some acceptable greeting, counter greeting pairs. So we got the military greeting.
Now, Cole, for these, I know this is a little bit impromptu, but should one of us do the greeting and then the other counter greeting, just so people can get?
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. So I'll start this one off, and then you can start the next one off, etc. Military greeting, sir.
Yes. The next one is greeting involving a dropped object, which, believe it or not, is very common. Excuse me, you dropped something.
No, I did not. It's yours anyway, whatever it is. Here's another military greeting from within and without of a deep hole. Hello down there.
You're rights will be stripped away soon enough due to your condescending tone. Moving on to the last few. An unexpected false greeting. So this is a pretty unusual one, but it's good to be aware of. Eep! I didn't see you there.
And soon enough, you won't see me again. I'm on my way out. And lastly, we have the interrogative greeting. Hello? Is anyone in there?
Yes.
So hopefully that familiarized you with some standard greetings. All right, we're moving on to the next section of greetings, cues, and sudden inclinations, which is cues and inclinations. So here you'll learn what they are and how to tell the difference between them. So a cue is a message from either a supreme being or the wind. Most commonly, though, the former is the cue's sender, while the latter is just a mere messenger.
And what a cue is it's asking you to stop what you're doing, look into the sky, moon, or sun, or lamp if you're indoors, and listen carefully for what you must do next, according to the sender.
And a cue is only ever sent because, according to the sender, again, the receiver has done something terribly, terribly wrong.
Now, on the other hand, and this is important, a sudden inclination is a message sent to you by one of your own organs, hoping to deceive you into believing that it is a cue.
And while it's natural and healthy to follow a sudden inclination, it very often means utter damnation. So here's a little diagram. Right, the diagram. You have the supreme being sending its cue to the wind, which sends it then to you and your brain. But please make note, the brain is simply receiving here. It is not sending the cue. If it were sending the cue, that would be an inclination. Okay, so let's move on. How to tell a cue from an inclination. You want to start this one?
Sure. So, if you have very recently eaten something that your typical diet is unfamiliar with, or something that you probably shouldn't have been eating in the first place, any cue that you think might be coming your way is probably just an inclination and can be completely ignored.
And on the other hand, if you see the face of God anywhere, such as in the grains of a static television, burnt into your morning toast, or standing right outside your kitchen window, this is 90% likely to be a cue, but if it isn't, you have merely gone insane.
And so lastly, a very fun fact, the cue ball from billiards is named thus because it was the very first tool in the shape of a circle ever used by man. And the circle, as we know, often represents God.
Right. So that pretty much settles it for Chapter 1, Lesson 3. So please, I hope you have taken your proper notes. I hope you're ready to be tested on this information. And then we're going to jump right into Lesson 4 here soon, so stay tuned. Any closing remarks, Sean?
No, just happy to be here, and I look forward to talking next week about nebulae.
Excellent. Yep, there's a little sneak peek. So have a good day, everyone, and stay safe.